The Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Probably one of the most influential RPGs of my earlier, not early, but my earlier gaming career, I suppose. It's one of the games that I spent so long in that I couldn't even count the hours. The other one was the Elder Scrolls Morrowind, so that was the Elder Scrolls 3. That is still one of my favourite games of all time. I prefer it even to Oblivion, but we'll get into that later in this video. What I want to deal with in this video is what exactly have they done in what they call a remaster. Now, personally, I think this is definitely more of a remake. So let's start off by character models. Wow. The change is unbelievable. They've definitely brought it up to completely modern standards. It just, there's nothing else you can say. It just looks absolutely phenomenal in relation to what it used to. Some of the character models are still a little bit odd, but that's because I think they've tried to remake the original character in the new engine rather than just giving the character a completely new face. That being said, it's still miles above what it used to be. Now, combat is as the Elder Scrolls has always been, and I'm talking about the Elder Scrolls single-player games, not the Elder Scrolls Online, which is a little bit different. But in this, ranged combat is relatively straightforward. As soon as you've leveled it up to a certain level, you are then able to zoom in, but when you start out, it's quite literally pressing the R2 button to draw back the bow, hold it for as long as you possibly can to get the amount of strength you need, and then release the arrow. Melee is exactly the same, apart from each press of the R2 swings the weapon. It's relatively straightforward, with block being mapped to L2 as standard. Nothing that you're really going to struggle with, and it still does work. I mean, the fact that it's now been mapped to R2 and L2, which are triggers rather than just buttons, which they would have been during the original Oblivion release, is quite nice because they do have adaptive trigger feedback. Although I have turned it on, and to be honest, I cannot feel the difference, so maybe that's something that needs to be improved a little, or maybe it's just my perception, I don't know. You just saw on screen lockpicking. It's a relatively straightforward system, although I would advise you to use headphones for it, because there's supposed to be a metallic tick when it reaches the place where you're supposed to press the X button. When I was using it through my screen, I couldn't hear the tick, so probably headphones would be best for that. Either that or just try and judge it, which is what I was doing. So, realistically, the updates and improvements to the game are mostly graphical, which you could expect. I would say, however, that this is more of a remake and not a remaster, simply because I'm not sure the original engine would have allowed for any of this to be done. I don't think it would have held up at all. And I come back to my opening statement that my preferred Elder Scrolls game is Morrowind. There is a lot of talk out there that they would never be able to do a remaster of Morrowind because the technology is too out of date. I personally do not believe that they would have to use the original technology at all. I think all they would need to do was remake the game, so a full remake, exactly as it was, apart from its graphical upgrades and some quality of life things, but not too much. Don't do a Final Fantasy VII remake on it. It doesn't need to be completely changed. The game itself was a pioneer for first-person open-world roleplay games, and it doesn't need anything doing to it apart from bringing it up to modern technology graphics. There is something about Morrowind that just puts it over and above all of the others. But I'm not going to go too much into that because this is a review of the remastered Oblivion. And I've got to say I am impressed. This came out of nowhere for me. I didn't know they were working on it. I don't follow gaming rumours too much, simply because A, I'm not a news channel, so they don't really affect my day-to-day. Unless it's a game that I am specifically playing right at this second, it's not something that I keep my ear open for, simply because there's way too much going on, and I have a full-time job, so I just don't have the time to do loads of research into things like this. As I say, unless it's a game I am currently playing. So I do watch out for videos on certain games and news on certain games, but I don't cover every rumour, because 9 times out of 10 they don't come true. Turns out this one did, and I'm actually quite glad for it. Now, initially I was not going to buy this game, simply because my money is limited and I want to spend it on something that I'm going to thoroughly enjoy, that's new and I've not seen before. Interestingly, I played this on Game Pass because I also have an Xbox, really did like it, and thought I would prefer to play it on my preferred system, that being the PS5. I did get it, and it does say it's enhanced for PS5 Pro. I don't know what those enhancements are because they only have performance and quality mode. Put it in performance mode and oh my god, does it stutter. So if you do have a PS5 Pro, leave it in performance mode, don't put it in quality mode, because the frame rate tanks completely. Now I'm going to guess that the difference between performance and quality on a normal PS5 is significant in graphics. Alls I will say is on the PS5 Pro, from what I saw, I didn't really notice that much of a difference. So I'm guessing performance mode is what you should put it on for the PS5 Pro. Anyway, back to the game. As I said, graphically, there's not much you can say. It's just immensely improved. Combat-wise, it's as I remember it, probably a bit slicker, a bit quicker, obviously better looking, but it does have a really good presence. Is that the correct term? It feels right. It's not quite as floaty as the Elder Scrolls Online. It's on a par with the combat in Skyrim. Now, I would actually say this now looks better than Skyrim, even the Skyrim updated for PS5. I have to say that, and I honestly do believe that to be the fact as well. There's just something about the character models in this which are just so much better than the character models in Skyrim, even the updated version. So that's something to take note of, I think, because they've done an absolutely brilliant job of updating it for modern systems. There is very little else to talk about with this game, to be fair. It is a very well done, extremely fun and enjoyable game. The remaster, as I said, has been extremely well done by the developers. And I don't think there's any reason that if you like first-person RPGs, you shouldn't get it, because I would wholeheartedly say you should. Now, this game for the standard edition is £50 in the UK. So that is £20 short of a AAA title. And although this is an old game that's been remade, it's still a new game, because it's using new technology. A lot of time will have gone into the manufacture of this, and the manufacture, that's probably completely the wrong term, development of this. So the fact that they have put that lower price point on it is also extremely well received. So yeah, I would advise you definitely go out and buy it. And as this is the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, I thought I'd finish on running through the woods, because the outdoors is something to behold in this game. Before I do that though, you probably noticed my character really struggled to get up that hill. They've actually added in the ability to, well, it's not even an ability, they've actually added in that hills do affect how your character walks and runs, which is lovely, I must say. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it, as always. If you have enjoyed the video, please make sure you click the like button. Subscribe if you are new to the channel, and please make sure you do leave me a comment down below. I would be interested in discussing your thoughts of the remaster, what you make of it, what you think has changed, what you think is the same, what you think they should have changed but didn't, maybe. Down in the comments, let me know, and we can engage in some form of conversation about it. And as always, you will take care. Bye for now.